you working on? What are you excited about? What are you doing in the midst of this whole coronavirus takeover?
Yeah,
it's literally a takeover at this point.
Yeah, takeover, man. First of all, good morning, Evan. Good morning, Rakita, David, Scott. What's going on? Thanks for jumping into the watch party. We're working on getting the video up, but yeah, man. So right now, it's actually a really interesting time for us. It's exciting. Black Speakers Network this year. Well, actually, April, in a couple of weeks, I'll celebrate my 1 year anniversary since being out of corporate. I left April of last year, which has absolutely flown by.
Yeah.
So that's amazing. So that's a nice milestone personally, but professionally, I think BSN has never been in a more exciting time. We just hit 500 premium members that we serve. We have a speakers community of about a little over 9,000 speakers from around the world, and it's cool, man. It's really, I think particularly now, you realize more than ever the impact of the audience that you serve. And for anybody that's not familiar, Black Speakers Network, we are a nationwide speaker development and training company. And so our mission is to equip, connect, and inspire the next generation of Black professional speakers. And so generally, we're there to help speakers connect with the audience that they're called to serve. And the great thing about this entire having an organization and a charter like that is that I get to work with so many talented, smart, capable people from so many different industries. And I think right now it's just an amazing opportunity that we have as speakers to be able to leverage the platforms that we have to be able to truly, help people. And so, yeah, man, that's kind of a 10-foot overview of what's going on. And then personally, I had a trip to Bali scheduled for next week. That is postponed indefinitely.
Okay, yeah.
So,
unfortunately. Talk to me about, you recently published an article, and that article was entitled, 5 Ways to Be Productive in the Midst of Everything That's Going On with the Corona.
Yeah. I just thought it was important. Well, first of all, as speakers, we're always trying to figure out how to create multiple streams of income. But I think when we're in an era like we are now, it becomes even more important to recognize that we can't just be reliant on, 1 or 2 streams, particularly being paid for live events. I mean, we saw so many events, obviously at this point canceled, but I think at the time of this recording, it's Thursday, March 19th. Just a week ago, I was at a live event, having a great time down in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, with 20 other leaders and entrepreneurs and authors. And so, we're seeing an unprecedented shift.
Yep.
Obviously, we saw one of the biggest events of the country, South by Southwest, of over 500,000 people expected to be in attendance, canceled. And so we're really in extraordinary times. And so, as speakers, and this, Joey, we've talked a lot about finance and business. You pretty much, want to always be preparing for that next thing. Historically, we experience a recession of some sort every 10 years. Here in the United States. And so, but for many of us, 10 years ago, we have some people in our network 10 years ago, they were still in high school, so
high
it's
school,
not even a
college. Shoot, some people were even in middle school now in the workforce with Gen Z. Let's see, 10 years ago was 2010. So, if a worker is 22 now, they would have been 12. Right? So, man, this is hitting a lot of people hard for the very first time.
First time, man. And so we're talking about creating tools to navigate it, right? And I think, for Black Speakers Network, I did the article, the 5 ways to monetize your speaking business during the coronavirus travel restrictions was the name of it. But, you could ignore that and just say 5 ways to monetize your speaking business, because these are things we should be doing regardless if we have this this global health pandemic happening or not.
Yeah. And honestly, man, that's the key to having content that's evergreen so that you can respond in crisis, is to have information that you can apply whether it's a crisis or not. So, for example, you just said, this information applies whether it's a coronavirus, whether it's a hurricane, whether it's whatever. Having that information that you can just update is crucial.
It is. And so, for us, man, it kind of boils down to, so I think just to give expectation and kind of get some context, within BSN, we're always talking about how to grow your speaking business. For us, it sits on a framework of what we call the five M's. And so everything we talk about is either helping speakers get clarity on your mission, your message, marketing, how to monetize or manage your speaking business. Now under each of those 5 M's, there are multiple different topics that we could talk about. But when it comes to monetizing your speaking business, it all comes down to making sure that you are serving your audience through different modalities, and also kind of insulating yourself from some of these things. Doing the things necessary to disconnect ourselves from trading our time for money. And I've yet to experience anything that quite matches up to the experience of just waking up in the morning and checking your email and seeing PayPal notifications, Stripe notifications, Cash App notifications, for stuff for transactions you weren't physically involved in handling. And I think, that opportunity opens up a realm of resources. And so, to me, man, it's about, making sure that you just start where you are with what you have. And, your audience obviously is going to want to consume content from you outside of what you are offering in a live workshop, keynote, seminar, etc. And so the name of the game for 2020 is repackage, repurpose, and repeat.
Man, you're really good at these acronyms and bite-sized nuggets with the 4 M's and the 3 R's. I need you on my team, man, because you got this nailed down. But no, you're right, man. There's nothing like waking up and seeing someone bought something that you labored over, and they bought it while you were sleeping. It reminds me of when I was a musician back in the day, and we had a CD, and you don't get the sales. Back then, you didn't get the sales in real time. It was always on a quarterly basis. But it's just so cool to see all right, these people were feeling it. They bought the CD. They got the download. It's like you make it once and then you sell it over and over and over again.
Absolutely. That's the name of the game now, man. I think people are starting to figure that out slowly. And the repackage, repurpose, repeat. I think Jonathan Passley. Yep. So yep. I give full credit to him. That was one of my very first digital marketing mentors, and that was one of the first things that he taught me in this industry, man. So I give full credit to him for that piece.
Yeah. Well, so you're doing all of this content. You're helping speakers get opportunities in the midst of this current climate that we're in now. I'm gonna switch gears a little bit and throw you on your toes. What does self-care look like for Brian? How are you recharging? How are you taking time for yourself in the midst of everything that's going on?
Yeah, well, you know me, man. I'm open book. We can talk about whatever. So self-care. Well, even when I was still in corporate, I had to start to kind of put together these the system for myself, which again is nowhere near perfect, but just bringing in the resources. So for me, that's a critical piece. I go to therapy twice a month, and so that's a really big self-care piece. I don't think we talk about enough, but dude, that's awesome. Sometimes I go into those sessions, I'm like, man, I didn't even know that some of these things were on my mind.
Yeah,
right?
Wow.
and then it gives an opportunity to unpack it. So one of the homework items I actually have for that is to watch the Brene Brown Netflix special.
And I love Brene. Dr. Brene.
Dr. Brene Brown.
Yeah, Dr. Brene.
She earned it, man. But I mean, because talking about vulnerability, right? And being able to tap into our emotions and stuff like that. And so, so that's number one. I think the other thing is, even when I was out in Florida, and we were at a 3-day Master Storytelling Academy with Andy Henriquez, and that was an incredible experience. But even in the midst of that, just taking time to get outside, walk the beach. One of my favorite things to do is like jump on one of those scooters and just like go around town. I have a personal goal. I'm a cyclist, and so I have a personal goal to bike every city that I go to. And so I've done like 12 cities so far. Didn't get a chance to do it while I was in Fort Lauderdale last week, but anytime I have an opportunity to do that, it's been great. And then just in terms of being an entrepreneur, particularly something like Black Speakers Network. I mean, it's not like it's a bakery or something that opens or closes. It's like a physical store. Like if unchecked, there is something I could physically be doing in BSN like 24 hours a day. Like,
man, listen, there's never a stopping point. There's always something to do.
There's always something to do. We're in the process of planning a first major conference in October. We're in the midst of a complete website overhaul. Even as we're talking, like our developer just sent me like 2 DMs, like, hey, I need something. So like it's all going, So for me, I just have to. I don't think I'm great with Shanier Carter. She's a trusted friend of mine up here. She introduced me to this concept called like work blocks. So it's like, incorporate, if you don't have an office or whatever, and somebody comes to you, she has a sign that she could put on her computer, and like, hey, I'm in a work block, like, don't mess with me. I was like, oh, that's interesting.
Did he say it best in the song? Don't bother me, I'm working. I gotta send you that song for a ringtone or something. Just
please send it.
All right.
Please send it.
Yeah,
I'm on there. But I'm not really good. Like I like so a couple of things I've committed to doing. One is once my calendar is pretty much set for the day, in terms of like meetings and calls, I don't pretty much add anything else to it. I'm very, very selective of even the amount of like one-on-one like interaction that I have. And so with my calendar, the way I use a Acuity calendar like a lot of people, it's set up so I'm only talking to about 3 people per day.
Okay.
Because a lot of times we're like, oh man, you have 15-minute calls, and I could stack. Theoretically, I could probably do like 28 calls throughout the day if I really wanted to.
And you come from that world, right? You were working with the recruiting space in a career long ago. So you remember that call life?
Yeah, well, I do and I don't. So I wasn't, even though I worked for a recruiting firm, I wasn't actually a recruiter. But we were in that world, so it was certainly when I was in finance, it was like calls. Then it started to move away from that. But yeah, it's kind of like, you look at your calendar, and then the almost instinct is to fill all the blocks. But what we don't think about is, okay, if I talk to Joey for 20 minutes, we may have talked about 5 different topics in that 20 minutes. And of those minutes, there might be action items. There may be things that I need you to do, things you need me to do, other meetings that need to be scheduled. There may be things to think about. You may have told me a great book that I want to read or order. There's a lot to unpack. There's probably like 2 hours of stuff to unpackage from a 15, 20-minute conversation. And so if we're not building in enough space to be able to effectively navigate that, you're just having conversation, but you're not being as effective. And so for me, I'm really big on just kind of limiting that and then just kind of protecting my energy as well.
Yeah, man. protecting your energy is so important. You have to say no. No is such an empowering word. There was a recent podcast that we did on the power of saying no, but you can check that out in your free time. But you're right. Even just having one conversation with. Yep, there you go. There's an action item. Matter of fact, so I was responding to a reporter this morning. One of the things that I do in the morning is I wake up and I get a list of reporters that are looking for experts on different things. And so I was responding to a question about time management and productivity, because everybody wants to know how to be productive at home. And one of the things I said is, you have to guard your time. You can't just be falling into conversation, socializing, scrolling on the gram, all that sort of stuff. You have to make the most of the time that you have to work, because you can socialize off the clock, you can scroll the gram off the clock, but when it comes to, if we can be honest, securing your employment, securing the bag in this season, you have to show value. And so if you're working for an employer, or even if you're like a freelancer or something like that, make the most of your time. Don't treat it as a game.
Yeah, I think that's super important, man. I'm gonna check out that episode, because I think the power of saying no. Personally, I love saying no. It's just I don't love it from the perspective of like letting people down and stuff like that. But I know that there's a capacity, and that's something that Andy Henriquez hit on last week, and something that Dr. George Fraser talks about all the time, is that people don't struggle with ideas, they don't struggle with like execution all the time, they struggle with capacity. And so each of us have a specific amount of capacity every day. We also have a specific amount of energy, and when it's gone, it's gone. Like, there's no bringing it back.
Yep. People are so we chase money so much, but the true value or the true wealth is time, because you spend that and you don't get it back. All right, so it looks like we both have a hard stop coming up soon. Is there anything that you want listeners to know, viewers to know about you, about projects you're working on? Is there anything that we can do to support your business, to support fellow speakers in the Black Speakers Network? What are some things that we need to know about? What are our action items after gathering today?
Yeah, so a couple things. I think, first of all, anybody that's a speaker, or even if, and by the way, let me qualify a speaker, because I think a lot of times, one of the reasons I started BSN, Joey, is because I think they were coming from Morgan State University, in 2006, and starting in Toastmasters. I was like, okay, I see the potential here of professionals, entrepreneurs that have really powerful stories and really can impact people by using the power of their voice, but they don't really self-identify as speakers, right? And so you could be, and I'm talking about people who have gotten paid, engagements. They really may not, you might be like, oh, speaker, and they may think like Les Brown, Tony Rock, but they don't see themselves as a speaker. And so I just want to kind of broaden that for you. If you're somebody that's listening, and maybe you're an entrepreneur, you're creative, you're running a traditional business, maybe you are an executive, a director, or just a leader in your own company, just start thinking about how you can use the content that you have, those years of knowledge, the experience, the stories that you've gathered so far. It could be the difference between somebody breaking through to the next level in their own life, business, or career. And so for the people that are on the fence, and if you're just like, oh, well, I'm not a speaker, you might be. And so for people that are in that category, we definitely want to serve you at Black Speakers Network. I think the number one thing you could do is to go to Facebook and type in Black Speakers Network and just join the group. It's free. It's a free community where we're constantly sharing resources, best practices. We're giving shout outs for people getting their first engagement, their first podcast, really just making sure we're building a collaborative ecosystem of speakers. The other thing that we're doing, Joey, to your question, is we're really making sure that we are connecting purposely our community of speakers with a community and an ecosystem of entrepreneurs that provide services for speakers. So that includes website design, videography, photography, copywriting, We just brought on a new director of marketing communications here. And so for us, the big thing is when you are building your speaking business, the number one reason we exist is that you don't have to do it alone. Mm-hmm. You can do it with a community of other speakers. You can do it with a support network of entrepreneurs that provide services that you need. And you can do it knowing that you can connect with somebody that's a little bit ahead of you and somebody you can help pull people up along the way that may be just a little bit behind where you are. Yeah. So that's the biggest thing that I want to communicate, man. And so if you are a speaker, join the community. If you're an entrepreneur that provides services for speakers, feel free to reach out to me directly. You can connect with me like we do all the time, Joey, on LinkedIn. A lot of business is getting done on LinkedIn. So if you are sleeping on LinkedIn, I hope you wake up.
It goes down in the DMs, man. It goes down in the DMs and the groups as well.
And the groups,
great place.
In the DMs. Yeah, that's what I say. I feel like it's that exchange, man. But you're doing amazing work, Joey. I think you've been just an extreme advocate. Or you've been a friend to me, but you've also been just such a strong advocate for Black Speakers Network since we started, man. Did your podcast that's many years ago, and it's so refreshing to have support. That's one of the big reasons why it was important to me that we bring our first ever major conference, which is the Black Speakers Network Global Speakers Summit, to Baltimore. Yeah. I wanted to make sure that was right in our own backyard, where people like yourself, Chamber of Commerce, all the businesses that have helped support us, as well as members, can be able to experience that right here where it all started. So if you do anything, I would say join the group, save the date for the conference. That's the Global Speaker Summit, October 9th, 10th, and 11th. October 9th, 10th, and 11th. Save the date. It will be at the Lower Baltimore Hotel, downtown Baltimore, Maryland, and super excited about that, man. And other than that, we are rocking and rolling. We are rolling out a new content platform called Black Speakers University, so you'll be hearing more about that.
Okay.
Yeah, man.
I love it.
More to come.
I love it, man. Well, if you're looking for some visiting professors, holla at the boy.
We are actually. we are looking for faculty. So yes, you are on the short list.
All right, cool. Well, there goes our parting lesson. There, you have not because you asked not. So, folks, if you can do something for someone, ask them, and you may just get a yes. So I'd love to be a part. Probably talking, how to do podcasting to promote your brand or something that makes sense. Let's definitely keep in contact throughout this. One of the things we need in this social distancing climate is community. So we're definitely gonna do this again, and enjoy the rest of your day. Get back to that web developer, get that website up, and I wish you all the best, bro.